Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
Hi, you're welcome to Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lillian, and you are listening to a Tech Talk. According to a recent report by the United Nations, every 2 minutes a woman dies during pregnancy or childbirth. This is really sad if you think about it, because, why? These things can be prevented, right? It is really alarming because maternal deaths have either increased or stayed the same in most parts of the world recently. And most of these deaths happen in the poorest regions and countries affected by conflict. In 2020, about 70% of all maternal deaths occurred in sub-Saharan Africa. In 9 countries facing severe humanitarian crisis, the maternal mortality rates were more than double the global average. The report also revealed that there were around 287,000 maternal deaths worldwide in 2020, slightly lower than the 2016 figure when the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) were implemented. And this data only shows that there is an urgent need to ensure every woman and girl has access to crucial healthcare services before, during, and after childbirth. And that is the mission of Enya Seguin. Oh my gosh. Say it again, please.
No, you did great. That was great. You're a natural.
I did? Okay, please say it to people.
Perfect.
Can you
My name is
yourself?
Enya Seguin, but I will respond to Enya Seguin. I will respond to some other variations.
Enya Seguin.
That is completely fine.
So you said your first name is?
Enya.
Enya Seguin. All
Yes.
right. I'll just call you Enya. Okay. Enya, I'm really excited that you joined us today. Thank you very much for joining us. So can you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
Yes, sure. So Lillian, thank you so much for having me as well. I've loved the previous speakers you've had on. I think you're hosting a really cool outlet for interesting entrepreneurs, especially with the latest ones doing also a lot of tech related things, which is exactly my field as well. So in a nutshell, the field I'm in is how do we leverage tech to improve access to healthcare? That's everything I've worked on since ever I was 19 years old until now, with a specific focus on sub-Saharan Africa and a specific focus on the more resource constrained settings there.
All right. By the way, the topic of discuss today is BabyChecker, harnessing AI for safer pregnancies, because that is your mission, right, in the world, safer pregnancies. But let's just start from the very beginning. Is there anything about your background that prepared you for this field you chose right now?
Honestly, nothing can prepare you to embark on a journey like that. The only thing that can prepare you properly is a good dose of curiosity, a good dose of open-mindedness, a good dose of humility as well. But what came to be the person that I am now, and the person that is working on BabyChecker now, is a range of experiences that have made me someone who enjoys making waves, and someone who enjoys pioneering and enjoys disrupting. In the most positive way.
Of course.
Of course. We're talking about innovation here, and disruptive innovation for most part, the objective is to have a positive impact. And that's everything, that's the foundation of everything I've ever done, also with BabyChecker. What has equipped me well to do BabyChecker, and what continues to make me a well-prepared and hopefully well-rounded entrepreneur is curiosity, and also the knowledge that you don't know a lot of things. And that's why, it's important to build local partnerships and to empower local capacity to really know what is the problem and to know your users very, very well.
Okay, that works. So talking about your background, can you walk me through how you grew up?
Yeah, sure. So My background is, well, I'm Canadian. I'm French Canadian, as you may have been able to tell by the pronunciation of my name. So my mother tongue is French. I was born in Montreal. I've lived in a few different places, and that has obviously, contributed to me feeling at home in many different places, in a few different settings, meeting people from all over the world. And then for me to grow this passion in international development, political science, and then to dip my feet in the waters of global public health and seeing how, wow, there is so much to be done in this sector, especially, on the African continent. And then my drive for problem solving brought me to where I am today, mostly. So background in mostly healthcare innovation with a focus on technology and how do we solve problems.
So what did you study?
I studied first political science, and then I studied healthcare innovation.
Oh wow, that's really nice. So how many? Yeah, I just want to talk about you before we start talking about BabyChecker.
Sure.
So how many siblings did you have when you were growing up, or how many siblings do you have in your household?
Oh, I have one sister.
Oh, some will say you're really lucky. Well,
but we have such big personalities that you could say we are multiple sisters altogether.
Oh wow. I'd love to be in your house for like a week to understand what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my household was 3 powerful, independent women who support each other, who are curious and love life and new experiences. So you can see we're women who take a lot of space and who love life. And so 3 women like that growing up together is really a beautiful thing.
It is. I think a lot of people should start embracing life more better because we only live once, and fixating in just one thing every time is a problem. And people always say that when you're always hustling and struggling to get to the destination is usually the end of life. So just enjoy the journey. So I love that.
Exactly.
Now, when you're done, when you finish school, how did you start your journey while still in school, or you finished? Or tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we were really lucky that my mom brought us along everywhere. We traveled a lot as kids. It's a huge privilege to get to see so many different countries, so many different places. And that's definitely what contributed to this curiosity. What's out there, and tools and humility, also the humility of knowing that you don't know many things, and how can I know more about this, and how can I speak to these people, and how do I find out more about this and that. And it really comes from the privilege of traveling a lot. So that's something we did a lot growing up. And then finishing high school in Switzerland, moving to the Netherlands to then start my degree. In that degree, that's when I found out, wow, healthcare is cool. And there are so many problems and so many opportunities in, at that time, it was mostly East Africa and West Africa. I was looking at doing a lot of research in Kenya and in Ghana and looking at how, wow, there's so many opportunities. So that's really how that journey kind of started.
Okay. I saw, when I was researching you, I saw Yapili.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes. So Yapili was a journey that I embarked on when I was about 19 years old. What we really wanted to do was to leverage the massive access and the growing access to smartphones in Africa to connect health seekers to healthcare advisors. So we have now this technology that's really taking over. Mobile penetration is growing. On the other hand, health access is not improving as rapidly. So what we really wanted to do is connect those two sort of facts together, use smartphones to enable access to healthcare. And we were the first mobile application to connect health seekers in Africa to doctors anywhere in the world. So creating this sort of borderless telemedicine solution, which was really cool.
Yes, you brought a new meaning to Doctors Without Borders.
Yes, exactly. It was a digital doctor cell border.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So how has that been?
Yeah, so it was a great journey. I was doing this with a couple of really incredible co-founders, and it was fun. I mean, we started this whole thing from the branding of it to naming it Yapili, which Yapili means second in Swahili, because we started in East Africa. So we were the proposition was that Yapili can be your second option. When you can't make it to the doctors, when you can't make it to the hospital because of long queues, high costs, you don't have time, you can always reach a doctor from the comfort of your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. I traveled a lot. I visited Botswana for the first time. I went, traveled through Kenya, but there was a lot of challenges at the time with the business modeling. I think business model innovation, especially for tech in Africa, is probably, as big of an innovation need than the actual technology itself.
Okay. Is it after that you decided to, you stumbled on BabyChecker?
Yes. In a nutshell, yeah. So I just, spending a lot of time in the health tech, as we say, the digital health space. It was a very small ecosystem, especially back in 2016, 2017. We were very few to be doing health tech, smartphones for healthcare access. So it was easy to come across people. I've met a lot of people, grew a very, very incredible network. And yeah, well, you could say that's how I eventually stumbled on BabyChecker. Yeah.
Okay, so when people start startups or start their tech companies or just resuscitate one, you'll be wondering, what did you see? What did you see? What challenge do you notice that made you realize that it is very important for safer pregnancies and AI to work together?
Yeah, I think it's through the seeds planted by other innovations before, right? Nothing is ever new. That's my opinion, at least. There's nothing you're never recreating the wheel. And it's good to be humble about that too, because that opens yourself to learning from other people. Instead of always thinking, I'm the pioneer, I'm the first person to do this, you are rarely the first person to do anything. So it's good to, piggyback on all the trends and the innovations that other people have done with AI, with medical images. For example, in tuberculosis, there's AI that can analyze a chest X-ray image to tell you if you have TB or not. There's AI to detect, in mammography if you have breast cancer. There's a few really cool innovation in AI that have solidly proven that it's cost effective and it can be accurate to the point that we can really increase disease detection. So pregnancy is something millions of women go through, right? Is something that touches the lives of so many people. I mean, we're all obviously born from someone who was pregnant. So it's something that's so inherently important. Meanwhile, we have way too many women who die from preventable causes. Like the 800 women that you mentioned that die every day, almost all of those are preventable. And what we know is that when you're pregnant, it's very useful to get an ultrasound scan, even up to 4. Right, women in Canada, women in Europe, women of course over Africa as well. They get ultrasound scans. But women who live in the most remote villages you can think of, where maternal mortality is the highest, they don't have access to this ultrasound machine and to somebody who can actually read the ultrasound images.
When you said something about nothing being new, nobody being a pioneer, I just remember the what I thought about concerning music, right? I listen to a lot of old songs. I'm talking about 60s. And you hear songs and you say, oh my gosh, this is where this artist got the song from. You think that this person wrote the songs and you're enjoying them, but they're just sampling. they either sampled the song or they covered it. But because you don't know history, you have not listened to this song before, you didn't know that this song is not new. So that is the same thing with tech. Every tech innovation is on the back of another tech innovation. So yeah,
exactly.
So when I had a conversation with you about BabyChecker, you said you sort of resuscitated it.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Yes. So I'm a firm believer that, as you just said, innovation is recycled from many other things. The same way, I mean, I'm sure you listen to Afrobeats, Lillian, right?
Of course.
And do you think people know how many samples are taken from Fela Kuti, for example? Fela Kuti is seems to be the base of so much Afrobeat today, and people are sort of forgetting that, right?
Yeah.
Everything is sampled. A lot is sampled, at least. And it's the same thing with innovations. Things are sampled. And it's the same thing with the creators and the innovators behind everything that we find cool, the cool tech that's out here today. It's not just one person. It's been an assembly, a group of different people that have contributed. And in our case, it's been researchers, a group of researchers, companies, NGOs that have brought BabyChecker to what it is today. It started about 7 years ago when the first ever, group of people said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have ultrasound that's powered by AI? And then, of course, you have, 7 years ago, that's a whole, it seems like a lifetime away. We were doing all different things 7 years ago. It was just not the right time or the right place. So you have to know that. You have to put things on a shelf when it's not the right time or the right place. So it became more relevant now, 3 years ago. That's when I came in. And it became more, let's go, let's do this. It's the right time.
Yeah, since people can attach cameras to phones, can attach anything to a mobile phone, why can't you? So how does that work? Tell me how it works. I've seen videos, but for the person listening right now who's trying to picture how an ultrasound is connected to a phone, how does it work?
Yes, it's super simple. So anybody who's listening who's either had an ultrasound scan, so if you've been pregnant, you've maybe hopefully had an ultrasound scan, or you've seen it in a movie. So everyone can sort of visualize what that looks like. So that piece of equipment that touches your belly, that has a cable, and that cable can be connected to your smartphone. So forget the big machine that you see in the hospital, right? That cannot make its way to rural Africa, community health centers. So forget about that big machine. We're using your phone to produce capacities and capabilities that the ultrasound can offer. So you connect the ultrasound probe, it's called, to your smartphone. You open the BabyChecker app, and with the BabyChecker app, you can take sweeps across the belly. So it's 6 sweeps to be precise. And then the AI will tell you, how old is the baby? What position is it lying in? Do you have a placenta previa? Are you having twins? Is the heart beating? And those are very critical things to know at the community health center. So it's not a full diagnosis, of course, but it's enough at this stage, at least, to add some value to the antenatal screening.
It's so cool. Like you said, medicine is cool, and medicine with tech even cooler. So,
I agree.
So you talked about the community, right? Talk about local hospitals and reaching the locals, those who cannot afford this and don't have access. So how do you do that?
How did we empower the locals?
Yeah. How do you reach them to empower them? Yes. Do you have trainings?
Yeah. So first of all, it's really, really critical to work with local organizations.
Okay.
That's the first step. That's really what you want to do, because it's really great to, as I said, be making waves and leapfrogging with innovation and all of that. But you will rarely fully understand the problem unless you are from that area, you are from that community. So you need those voices in the community to help guide you and to help guide, what is the problem you're solving and are you effectively solving it? So local partnerships, number one. That is a critical component of any successful anything, really. If you're going to do something for community, partner with the community. And then secondly, our target users are any health workers at the community health centers. Those are the community health centers that are the closest to, specific villages, especially, in the primary health care setting where women live the closest to those facilities. So any healthcare worker there, we have midwives, we have nurses, we have community health officers, community health volunteers. We have plenty of primary healthcare workers. And those are our target users. And all they have to do is watch the training video on the BabyChecker app and they can start using it. So as a innovator, you want to remove yourself as much as possible from any sort of codependent relationship. Which is not scalable, as we know.
People calling you, I don't know what to press. I don't know what to put or touch to get this thing out. So if everybody can stand on their own, it would be amazing. All right, you're listening to Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lillian, and it is Tech Talk. We're talking about BabyChecker and how they are harnessing AI for safer pregnancies in the world, literally, because everybody can use this. You talked about ultrasound. I had an ultrasound recently, and I was not pregnant. I was not pregnant. It was to look for something somewhere in my tummy. So it would have been useful for me too. And not just not just pregnant people.
Absolutely.
So it is amazing what BabyChecker is doing, and I want to know, is it free?
So right now what we're doing is we're doing a lot of research pilots, and the next step for us as a company is really to see how is the commercial viability of a solution like this. That's going to be the next chapter of BabyChecker.
Okay. Do you know what would have been great? BabyChecker Yapili. The two concepts.
Yes.
Right.
I have been dreaming about that. So we, you never know.
You never know. Like you said, everything is every innovation is on the back of another innovation.
Exactly.
So what challenges have you faced so far in implementing BabyChecker?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest challenge is definitely related to the commercial viability of it. Like you just said, is it free? Most governments around Africa are really aiming for something called universal health coverage. So every woman should get maternal health screening for free. The truth of the matter is that's not often the case. Either it's free, but the quality is very, very poor, or it's very expensive to the point where women can't get access to it. So what we want to do, of course, is, I believe in social enterprise. I believe in for-profit innovations, because it's only through generating revenue that you can improve your innovation, of course. And artificial intelligence is something that needs continuous development and continuous human resources and continuous growth. And for that, you need revenue. And the challenge is, how do we make revenue and continue generating impact and continue making BabyChecker as accessible as possible? That is sort of the triangular challenge that we're facing right now. We'll see.
When you're trying to do something good, you're trying to make a difference, but then finances come in the way, and then that's good you're trying to do, you start putting a price tag on it. People, I thought it was supposed to be free, but it cannot be free if we don't have the partnerships that we need. So fingers crossed. Now, people are out there, they want to start something related to this. Everyone has an idea, and a lecturer of mine told me once that ideas don't come to just one person, right? It's spread to different people, and the person who implements it first gets it. That is how it is. So those who are right now, they are hatching a plan, they want to dabble into the health tech space, but they don't know how to. Do you have any piece of advice for them?
I would say networking is the best thing you can do for your career, for your product, for your for launching a company in general. I would say networking, speak to as many people as possible, have as many coffees as you can, possibly get into yourself, because that's really what makes you learn about not just what product you should be building or how to tailor your product to the target market, but also how to raise funds and what should be your next steps in your fundraising or in your product development or in recruiting people. It's all about meeting interesting people and learning from them. And then a special shout out to female entrepreneurs, because I have to sort of rep for that as well. A word of encouragement also is you are very needed. You are incredibly necessary to product development for femtech, female technologies that are made for women. Mm-hmm. We need women to be designing things for women, and it's only usually women who will understand this the best. So you are very much needed. CEOs, product development managers, software engineers. If you're a woman and that's something you're looking for, you are more than needed.
That's great. Thank you very much. So what are your projections for the medical tech space? How do you put it again? Telemedicine, right? Mm-hmm. What are your projections for it in say 5 years?
The projections?
Yeah, what do you think about that space?
Yeah, I think the space is growing a lot. I think it's becoming quite siloed. So we're getting a lot of solutions that are for specific care areas. So like maternal health, diabetes, mental health. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important in the next years that as each of those silos get their business models working and validated, that we find a way to merge all together and to sort of come all together to offer more holistic care. So wouldn't it be great to have a one-stop clinic, just a one-stop shop where all the world's best AI innovations can just be there? And then you can get a full screening that is covered by your insurance or that is covered by universal health coverage. And to get all these solutions under one roof instead of having these silos. So I'm forecasting, more silos for the coming years, maybe, but that then at some point, we need to break this silo and come all together and join forces.
All right. Before we go, I don't want to take too much of your time. About BabyChecker, is there any concern about privacy?
Privacy. So in most of the research projects, we women don't give their names. So the BabyChecker app will generate random IDs for pregnant women, so that they can just be, when the data is being analyzed, they're just a random number. So we'll never know your full name. We'll never know where you live, your age, any sort of information. All we'll know is that you are 1152. And we have no way of associating that with the actual person. Only your midwife will know that you, Lillian, are 1152.
I think I'll go by that. Okay, that is amazing. And I think I love what BabyChecker is doing. I hope there are many more of these innovations that spring up in future. So if you have an idea, do not be shy. Do not be scared. Don't ask what if. And ask why if I don't do it, what if I don't do it, not what if I do it, what will happen? Just do it and see what happens. People who have successful tech companies now, they have had unsuccessful tech companies in the past. So they had to just continue innovating until they struck gold. And even when they struck gold, they still continued innovating. So why can't we? Is there anything you want to add before we go?
I think you've wrapped that up perfectly. I think failure is beautiful. And I think that needs to be demystified as well. Mm-hmm. When you have something that doesn't work, according to your plan, quite the way you thought it would work out, it's wonderful, because there's so much more to learn in that sometimes than in your biggest success moments, right? Mm-hmm. And the entrepreneurs, that are serial entrepreneurs, you can believe that only 2 out of the 10 ventures they're mentioning actually worked out.
Exactly.
And still they sit in front of you and still you think how cool they are. And that's really because of the amazing learnings that they sit in front of. So yeah, beautifully said.
Thank you. See, so if you don't know, I contacted Enya on LinkedIn and she responded promptly, you don't know how much that how great I felt that you did that. There are people who you would contact from now to next year, they won't respond. So thank you for responding, and thank you for joining us on this. And don't be a stranger, because I'll still call upon you later. All right?
Yes. Yes, thank you so much for contacting me as well.
Thank you.
Love that.
It is Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lily, and you're listening to Tech Talk.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.